Hello, welcome to a new video. And we just got back, and it's the morning after this. We just got back from the store championships in London that they do for every set. They do the influencer content creator one. They invite a bunch of people down, and they get to play at Disney HQ. And I'm fortunate enough to get to invite to it, and also win it the first time round. That was awesome, and we even topped Swiss as well. So I think overall, I don't think we could have performed any better, except for have gone undefeated for the entire day. But we take what we can get. So it was a really good run. We got to bring the very different uh, blue steel list that you've seen snippets of me playing at EU Continentals and on the cross continental content creator thing as well. I can't remember what that's called. But finally, I'm going to start talking about the list, and going forward, I'm going to do lots of videos now. So we're just going to cover the list I brought today um, to this event at the store champs. But going forward, I'm going to do loads of videos about how to play it, different versions that I've had over the past weeks. The one I played at the EU Continentals and sort of how it's adapted to the one I have now. The benefits of it, mulligan guides, matchup guides, anything like that. Hopefully in time for some store champs as well. So we're gonna have a big video come out on Monday to get people ready for it. I think it's a fairly easy deck to pick up. I think one video will probably do you fine, and then your game knowledge of Lorcana should carry you the rest of the way for the wins. But yeah, awesome event as well. Thank you very much. And like I say, store champs start on the 18th um, next week on the 18th, and they'll be going until February, early February. So definitely check them out. I'm quite excited to run this list at a few of them. Um, because it's been performing really well, and I actually really wish I had this version of list that I could bring to the EU Continentals, but we can't go back in time. So yeah, it was a really fun day, and this was the list we ran. There we go. Finally get to reveal it and show people the fun spice that we've been cooking up. And again, need to note this is not a list that I came up with. This was a player called Justin. They go by Jack Shadows on Discord, so please hit them up and say hello. And I'm pretty sure badger him with questions as much as people want to ask me questions. He'd be happy to answer them as well. And it just basically came down to the idea that in set six, I mean, let's be honest, Sapphire still has been going fairly gradually getting more problems. It struggled with Sisu in set three, the three drop red one, and then it struggled with Daisy. Then it struggled with Genie. Ruby Sapphire matchup's not that great. It struggles with locations, and it was just getting to the point where the benefits of playing the deck was sort of feeling a little bit weaker. Besides, on top of the fact that I just like playing Sapphire Steel ramp deck, so we kind of we need to maybe check outside the box and uh, think how to approach Sapphire Steel and not the conventional ramp dime route that's been played before. So we looked at the cards that came out in the set and saw which was really good. Alice was easily one that took all of our eyes, and me and Justin saw it as well when we talked about how to use it. You can try it in wheel and no wheel. I don't think it fits perfectly because you get to a point where it's just better to play aerial. So we couldn't really find home for him there. But he went away and did the work. I didn't do the work because I'm not that good of a tech builder. So I'm very grateful to join him on this like journey and seen him progress with it, and then managed to take it to events and perform quite well with it. But he went away, did loads of testing with it, and found out the best way to do it was this low to the ground sort of aggro curve. And the deck, I don't really know what to call it, aggro or curve. I think sometimes you do play it aggro. I think a lot of people will process it as aggro in their head, but you do fight back a bit. You have Strength for the Raging Fire, you have Baboom, and Calhoun as well would mean that the deck is proactive and taking trades. So it's not 100% aggro. It's just a very low to the ground curve, Sapphire Steel dock build. Again, I'm trying to give it a name and it doesn't really have one, does it? We've been calling it Curve whilst in testing, so I will probably continue the video saying this is called Sapphire Steel Curve. Um, so yeah, we're just trying to get as much value out of this Alice card as we can. And I'll just run through the deck and then I'll run through how it operated on the Store Champs Day. So the one drops wise, we've got Mickey Mouse. And I'll do more in-depth videos as well, actually, about this. But I'll just run through the list and then when those videos come out, over-explain myself here, but it's fine. Mickey Mouse is probably the best one drop that Sapphire Steel actually has, which is a bit concerning, but that does let you know that Sapphire Steel doesn't have many good ones. But he's basically a buffed up Olaf or Minnie Mouse, the purple and the red one. So he's not that bad. He can check Chernobulks and things like that. Robin Hood is there to justify you having the Robin Hood shift line. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't run it. But then if you take out the shift line, you look at the other one drops that Sapphire Steel has, and they're not that good either. So you might as well take this, justify a shift line, and sometimes get some value out of shift trade or shift sing, strength of the raging fire. So you just got that in there to do this. Calhoun is just a busted card. She's just amazing. Really good for controlling the boards. A really good on the draw card. And then this low to the ground meta. If you're in a matchup where you're battling low to the ground with docks and low ink cost things like capping out a 4 or 5, Calhoun being able to hit something and then remove it and also chase the law is really good. Doc's just like the best draw engine I think right now. I love Doc. I think you could pair Doc with any of the color combos and he'd work. So Amber Steel of course performs really well with it. Purple still have been using it. Green still, I mean, I believe Wonderland's list had one dock in it when he won Seattle, so it was still around then. And I'm pretty sure if you pair it with Ruby, there's enough Ruby cards that a dock build's fine. So if you got 4x of it, we are on 3, but I can go into the details of why we have these ratios in my upcoming videos. So Smee, I never need to justify Smee. Awesome card, and the rest sort of should make sense. Why I've got it. Pete, Baboom. Pete is just very good for stalling the game out, especially when you're aggroing. Baboom is checking anything that needs to be checked, like a Cinderella or a Robin Hood shift line. Strength to control the board if you're just losing the board, because you can't race and aggro someone if you're already really behind on the board. Mukduk Mana, if they be prepared or put some pressure on Ruby Sapphire. Really great. And there's some other interesting cards as well. I'm pretty sure people will question, but you can leave comments. That'd be really great because comments are already good for interaction. But I'll go through them as the week goes on. John Silver's cards are really that I've just been loving right now. Baymax as well. But yeah, I don't want to over-explain the list here. I'll do it soon. And on the day we played round one, we got into Spessy, who was on blue-green, which in testing is a matchup I very much fear. But sometimes the deck is so quick, and because it's so proactive, you're basically saying, answer my board, and I'm going to turn sideways and quest. I don't really mind what you do. If they're going to set up their Hyrims and their Ramp Engine, that's fine. But that means that's turns taken off them not taking out your stuff and dealing with trades and stuff like that. So yeah, it was able to get a 2-0 win there. Went to Ruby Amethyst, which arguably can be one of our trickiest matchups with this deck. They can be prepared and then use Tremaine and Medusa just to lock the board out. But also it depends on how their build is, how their curve ended up being, how they end up dealing with Alice and Pluto, which is our really amazing combo when we play on curve. We play Alice and then we can quest and give Pluto ward. So that means whatever they have on board has to be run into the Pluto. This is very much better into decks that don't have a Crab or Fox, but even into those decks they have to find a way to do it and run them in. So amazing combo, and that can get you for this Ruby Amethyst matchups. Then we played into Kawa, who's on yellow green. This card's kind of rough here, but the benefit we have is Alice can give things ward, so we can get things on the board, start warding them up, Cogsworth to start resisting them, and do a lot of work there. I would say that's against conventional green still, but he was on yellow green, so it was really hard to just basically say, we have to hope you never get under the sea or can be at a point where you can sing it efficiently. But we managed to use other tools in the deck. Gantu is very good against yellow green. They only have so many Brunos in their deck before they run out, and I think he ran out. He used 2 before I started playing my Gantu, so I was in a good spot. Play the Mukduk Manas down, and they have to use your welcome on it, which they don't all run, or they have to bear necessities before you play it, or they have to start running their very cheap characters into it. So that's very good. They do have Cricky, but I just always assume people don't have any Cricky value because I just can't play around Cricky. Um, it was good, and then we were pretty much locked because there was only 4 rounds. So me and Alphos got paired, and we said, well, we'll probably see each other in the finals, so we'll just take the break here and go eat some pizza, which was really nice. They provided pizza. And then into the next round, we played Ruby Amethyst again, which, to be fair, I've had so much practice into Ruby Amethyst, and I'll admit, it's a matchup where I'd love to say we're favoured, but it's not. It feels very even. I've had so many games where I've 2-0'd, 2-1'd, and I've had loads of games where when I've got 0-2'd, and you just think, like, I don't really know where the favorability sets up with this deck into that matchup, but it just feels even, let's be honest, because I've had a real spectrum of results from that matchup. But we managed to get the 2-0 then. Lesson very unfortunate. They just sort of bricked, and I think a little bit. Those games as well from top 4 to top first, where it's like getting a mat or like it's quite important. They can get in your head a bit as well, and as well playing against this deck, it can feel a bit like because it's aggro, and I don't know how everyone's response is to aggro, but in your head sometimes you're like, God, just stop questing, just stop turning things sideways, and you can get a bit disheartened by it. So bless them, yeah. We played them in Swiss as well. It was the same one. So they were doing very well during that day. And they managed to win 1 game against us out of 5. So yeah, that was a really good game. It was lovely to meet them. And then we went to Alphos in the finals because we've noticed that if we took the ID, we'd be first and second, and then if we won our top four game, we could get into the finals. And we thought that would be really cool to get two Sapphire Steels into the final. So we did that, and yeah, it was really cool. He was on the classic no wheel list, popularized by Sky, and I guess the benefit of me was I know that list quite well, and he doesn't really know this list that well. And we were on the play. We were a top seed as well, so we managed to just aggro on the play. And we did feel afterwards, we did have a discussion about which list is a bit more, which one's more favored. And this is kind of the thing I've got noticed as this, guys, is that I haven't played it into every matchup. Like, I don't think I'd played this. I think I played this into one no wheel steal before. I played it into wheel steal and I felt very favored in there because if they wheel me, I just play a bunch of stuff and they can't really do much about it. But into nowhere. I didn't really know where that level was out on the favorability, but we kind of noticed that on the play it was still a struggle for him to get the win. It was still fairly close. You know, I was like one law off. I needed one more thing to turn sideways. I think it was at 5, and I needed one more thing on the board to get to 20 because I was at 15 law. So I was at 15 law, and I had 4 on board, and I just needed one more. So um, even then, it was very close. So I think even on the play, even on the draw, it was a bit more favoured than he when he was on the draw. So maybe just in general, this is better into no wheel as well, is what we're trying to deduct. But yeah, we ended up getting a 2-1 on there because just on the play, you're playing so aggressive. They play a port, but you've already got a Mickey and a Smee questing. You know, they can take turn off to play Quill, but you're just going to keep you're going to play an Alice and cut start questing. So it's so proactive in that fashion. But yeah, really cool list. I'm really excited to get sharing about it. And my main goal or hope is that going into set 7, we never know the pace of the meta. The meta could slow down drastically. They could just give loads more control cards to the control colors, and playing these low to the ground dock decks might be wiped out. But if the pace of the game continues as it is with all these low to the ground decks, you know, like Emerald Amethyst, Purple Steel, Amber Steel's Dock Mines, Amber Steel's just basic Amber Steel, um, all of the fast decks that have kind of destroying and controlling the meta right now. If they continue into set 7, what I'm excited to see is maybe we just get some better 1 drops and 2 drops and we can continue playing this Doc Sapphire Steel build because it's very nice to get Alice in this set. It'd be really a shame if she was to, in set 7, just got to get wiped out by not being that powerful anymore. You know, they have too many good answers for her or something like that. Too many good things to answer this 1-4 with Ward. I don't know what they'll add, but they might do. So yeah, really loving the list and just more content to come, which I've said about a billion times in this video.